family extrapolation for me, an incoming comrade. Today is Sunday, 26th January 2025. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, and this is a kind of a fun exercise, not so fun exercise, It's a family extrapolation. So taking something that's already happened in my family in my lifetime and then being like, what if that happened for me, or is true for me, and it just hasn't played out yet, or something like that. So in my extended family, when I was growing up, a few of my cousins found out they had a brother they had never heard of, and he joined in at family gatherings. Yeah, so he joined the family in the time I was alive. I was like 9 or 10 years old or something like that, and it was like, oh, the long lost brother, but that wasn't right because they didn't actually even know of the guy. Yeah, and so then we gained a family member in the generation before me at like the cousins level, and was like, there you go, for like there's a sibling, right, that people didn't know about. And so it was extrapolate that for me. Here I, Tanis Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, talk through an extrapolation of that situation for me, and that is an incoming comrade. Yes, so I'm going to stop here and distinguish. So the guy who joined the family, he's become very much like a comrade of the family, and a comrade is somebody who's kind of there and part of the support group / support network, and present in, for me, he's been in my life at family occasions and stuff like that. There is, though, a comrade can be non-blood family as well. And so I was thinking through the situation for me, and I was like, in my life thus far, so in my 30 plus years of existence, I have not ever had a comrade for a sibling. I haven't had a friend or a comrade for a sibling. And so I say, especially with where I am now, like if I were to take off and start doing really well at work, or like I won a Nobel Prize, or some big deal thing, and then all of a sudden, somebody in my life who has not been supporting me at the sibling level, but has been present and not supporting me, right? Hasn't ever come to a talk, hasn't even asked to come to a talk, hasn't even read one of my papers, anything like that, all of a sudden wants to be there, especially like at a Nobel Prize ceremony, and it's like, no, honey, no, right? You don't get to go from freeloading now to freeloading a gold digger later, right? That's just the reality of that. Didn't support me in my developmental years when I was at the bottom. I'm at the bottom kind of thing. So just no on that later. So then it does open it. Something I brought up is, what if my blood sibling is actually Lindsay Sterling? So like the situation of as it exists now is pretty simple. Even if I rise, is right, just no comrade for a sibling. I'm married and I don't live with my soulmate, right? There's space in my life for the family that has supported me, my blood family that has supported me. Other family members, like when I was at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, there were a number of students who were like, if you ever start a research group, remember us. And I'm like, communicating, I remember, right? I gotta get my group set up and stuff. Do I have tech positions for people, like a lab tech and that kind of stuff. I haven't forgotten that if I discover a mineral to name it after our school / department, I have not forgotten any of that. I've just got a little bit of a hold up, especially if I go back to science / mathematics. Okay, so I got a lot of people in my life that I like, and more people I want to introduce in my life, and I'm like, the non-supportive and verbally abusive and physically abusive sibling that's been in my life thus far is like, as a comrade, hell no, right? And not only that, that's consistent with their wishes and their desires for like me not talking about them or anything like that. So it's like, it's entirely consensual and agreeable. So then the situation of that's not actually my blood sibling, like there's an organization behind it that switched the kids early on, kind of thing, where they thought both people might go on to be notable, so let's split them up. So then, and this is for like me and Lindsay Sterling, right? So instead of them becoming overly attached to themselves, kind of separate them, switch people, that kind of thing. So maybe there's an organization behind it. I don't know. I would guess so if that actually happened. But so then that's a bit of a different situation, because then my blood sibling is someone I did not spend 16 years living in the same house with. And there's a lot of how do I get to know the person, right? So I'm going to say, okay, if that's true, how would what's my internal, like, good way, an internal check or check for if that person is my sibling? So one way of assessing if my one and only sibling is Lindsay Sterling, and I'll do blood sibling, one and only blood sibling is Lindsay Sterling. I get polio and she gets polio at the same time. As of when this video was filmed, up the family tree for me and me have ongoing medical conditions. Perhaps she does too, and has had low blood pressure before when this video was filmed. Since filming this video on Sunday, 26 January 2025. Low blood pressure for me is part hereditary or heredity and part activity. If I have a blood sibling and they are active, like, they should have low blood pressure like me. Like I have documented already on this YouTube channel, multiple readings in 2022, 2023, and 2024. So it's not something they would, I'd put this video out and then they're like, oh, I gotta now have it to make it look like I'm their sibling. No, they would have had it back in 2022, 2023, 2024. I've already made my readings public, so there we go. And then I guess the question then was, in that case, was she born Lindsay Sterling Leonhardi? All right, for Lindsay Sterling. So there'd be a time I would need to take to get to know my sister. As for a comrade, being my sibling, blood sibling, whether I have met them or not, does not give them a guarantee of being my comrade. And I was thinking of it, is there, if not an incoming sibling type comrade, this is kind of how I'm addressing that. How about Amber? Amber Heard, the first celebrity I ever direct messaged. She moved to Spain, you know, is interested in horses. Does she have a white Lipizzaner that she goes and trains with through the Spanish Royal riding school or whatever? And I go, you're a writer. Do you like your video being taken? Do I take videos of you? Do I become your documentarian, your support team? I love to spectate horse stuff. Do you want to ride? And I just spectate, no videos. No, it's just like comrade time. How about Sarah? Sarah Sjostrom. Does she join my research group? Do I get a research group? Does she join it? Do I go? With or without that? Does she swim? Do I go and I spectate? There's being part of the support group. But then, and how about Kesha, the only female artist I've seen in concert? So solo artist that I've seen in concert, pop culture concert. How about that? And developing that kind of a bond, right? Camaraderie being, like, I would say for me would be including somebody in their career. Right, so the emphasis, or like just pastimes or kind of life, maybe outside of blood family gatherings would be a way of thinking of it. So as this is an extrapolation to both for like at the blood sibling level, but also beyond that to having that kind of a figure actually involved in person in my life at the work/life level as like a comrade. All right, whether Lindsay Sterling is my sibling or not, it does not mean that it goes to my blood sibling. Right? It could be somebody else. So in an incoming comrade, I do question mark. I do not know, but there's some of my musing. There we go. As of today, Sunday, 26 January 2025, and I am Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers, Seattle.